Good evening, all of you. So, if you want to chart with me, so the chart is available only for subscribers only. So, if you are not subscribed, please be subscribe the channel so that you can interact in the session. Okay, let us start the session. So, so today it is day 18. So, in yesterday, day 17, we are going to discuss about recursion. So, recursion discuss about recursion in the day 17. So in day 18 we will also discuss once again about recursion, and after that we will go and execute the programs on the recursion. So what is a recursion? So it is a self-contained block, or it is a the function which will be called by itself. So the function which will be called by itself until a condition is true or a condition is false. So until the condition is true or until the condition is false, so the function which will going to call repetitively by itself. So that is called as a recursion, and a recursion can be classified into two types. So directive recursion and indirective recursion. So that means that the directive recursion, the function calls itself till the condition is true. So whereas in indirect recursion, the function calls another function, so then the called function calls the calling function. So that means indirectly the function calls another function. So it is called as a indirect recursion. So these are the example for the famous example for to find a factorial of a given number using recursion. So just I want to execute this code. So before that I want to explain this code. After that I'm going to execute this program in a Turbo C++. So here I'm going to declare the function, that is a calling function outside of the main program. So I'm going to declare the function outside of the main program. So it is called as a calling function, and inside of my main function I'm going to read n value from the keyboard. So after reading n value, then I'm going to pass that n value to the fact of n. So what is the result? The result of this will be stored into the f variable. Okay, so whenever I'm going to call this function, so then the function will be goes to called function or subprogram or user defined program or function. Then so it is a called function. So it will goes to the, whenever you are going to calling this function, then it will goes to the body of that function, that is a called function. Then here n is a original value, and whereas here x is a duplicate value to the n. So that means x can be treated as a n only. So here I am going to apply one condition. If n is equal to 1 or x is n is equal to 0. So that means that if number is equal to 1 or if the number is equal to 0, then my it will going to return factorial will be 1 only. So suppose if the n value is equal to 5, so then it will go and execute uh, n is equal to 1 and n is equal to 0, and after that if it is n is equal to greater than 2, then it will goes to the else block, and it will go on to print x into is nothing but n into fact of n minus 1. So then the entire result will be stored into the m variable. So that value will be going to return. So whenever I'm going to say that it is a return, then it will be written back to your main program. Then it will go to print the factorial of a given number is followed by parameter string and followed by F. I hope you will be understanding what I am saying. So whenever you are going calling the factorial function, then it will goes to the called function and it will go to execute the called function, and after that the result value will be sent it back to main program. If n is equal to 1 or if n is equal to 0, the factor will be written back to main program, or if n is equal to greater than 2 or greater than 1, then it will be execute else block, and that result will be sent it back to the main program, and it will go and print the factorial of a given number. So now let us execute this one in the Turbo C++. So for that, just I will copy this code. So into Notepad. So I will copy this code into Notepad. So can write the subprogram or user defined function after end of the main program. So now can save this file. So I want save the in my local disk. It contains Turbo C3, and inside of Turbo C3 I am going to save the inside of bin folder. So it will be a fact recursion. So I'm giving a name is fact followed by recursion, and after that my save type will be all files, and the file will be extended with the .c. Now we can save here. So now we can open Turbo C++. So you can go to the new, or you can go to open. So I already saved fact. So this is a program, my program. So now let us compile this code. So for compiling, you can go to compile option, or you can press Alt F9. So in my program there is no errors, and if there is no errors, now you can run the program. For running of program, you can use Control plus F9 also. So now I am going to enter the number 5. So then I got the number will be the factorial of a given number is 120. So that is the output of the factorial using a recursion. I hope you will be understanding what I am saying. So whenever you are going to call the calling function, so that will be goes to the call function, and it will go and execute if n is equal to 1 or if n is equal to 0. The input is if n value will be 1 or n value will be 0, it will go and return factorial will be 1. Otherwise, it will go and execute the else block. So in else block, I am writing x into factor of x minus 1. That means that n into factor of x n minus 1. So if n is greater than 2 or n is greater than 1, it will go and execute this code. The result will be sent it back to your main function, and after that it will go and print the factorial of a given number is followed by formatted string and followed by f. So that is a variable. The result will be stored into f only. So this is a program for factorial using recursion. So if you have any doubts, you can post your query in the chat box. And second one is Fibonacci series. So Fibonacci series by using recursion. So here also I'm going to declare the function outside of the main program. So it is called as a calling function or global function, and I'm going to read the n value from the keyboard. And here I'm writing one statement Fibonacci series is, and followed by I'm using for printing of Fibonacci series, I'm using a for loop for I equal to 1, I less than or equal to n and I plus plus, and print percentage d comma fib of I. So whenever you are going to you are going to calling the this function, then it will goes to the body of the called function or user defined function. Then it will go and check if x is equal to 1 or x is equal to 2. So that means if n is equal to 1 or if n is equal to 2, so then it will go and return n minus 1. So that means x minus 1 or n minus 1. So for example, if n is equal to your input is 1, so then it will go and execute n is equal to 1. Then it will go and return x minus 1. That means n minus 1. That is my n value is 1. So 1 minus 1, 0. So that the 0 will be written back to your program. So if n is equal to 2, so if n is equal to 2, then it will go and execute this condition. Then it will go and return n minus 1. That means 2 minus 1. So that is equal to 1. So the 1 value will be written back to your main program. So after that, if n is equal to 3, so if my n value will be 3, so then it will go to execute this else block. If n is equal to 1 or if n is equal to 2, then it will go and execute a return followed by x minus 1 or n minus 1. Otherwise, if n value will be greater than 2, then it will goes to the else block and it will go and print Fibonacci of x minus 1 plus Fibonacci of x minus 2. That means that Fibonacci of n minus 1 plus Fibonacci of n minus 2. So in this example, my n value is 3. Now we have to substitute here. So that is equal to 3 minus 1 and plus Fibonacci of 3 minus 2. So Fibonacci of 3 minus 1 plus Fibonacci of 3 minus 2. So that is equal to Fibonacci of 2 plus and Fibonacci of 1. So that is equal to, so the Fibonacci of 2 will be, I got 0. So I got Fibonacci of 2 will be, I got 0, and Fibonacci of 1 will be, I got 1, sorry, in a Fibonacci of 2 I got 1, and for Fibonacci of 1 I got 0. So then here it will go and substitute for Fibonacci of 2 will be 0, sorry, so it will be 1 plus the Fibonacci of 1 will be 0. So that means 0 plus 1. So we'll get next term. So that is a 1. I hope you are understanding what I am saying. So if n is equal to 1, then it will going to give 0. If n is equal to 2, then it will going to give output 1. And if n is equal to 3, then you need to substitute in the else block Fibonacci of 3 minus 1 plus Fibonacci of 3 minus 2, that is equal to Fibonacci of 2 plus Fibonacci of 1. So the Fibonacci of 1, the Fibonacci of 2 will be, I got 1, and for Fibonacci of 1 I got 0. So that means 0 plus 1. So can add 0 plus 1, we'll get next term, that is 1. So if n is equal to 4, you suppose if n is equal to 4, then you need to substitute in the else block Fibonacci of 4 minus 1 plus Fibonacci of 4 minus 2, that is equal to Fibonacci of 3 plus Fibonacci of 2. So what is the Fibonacci of 3 plus what is the Fibonacci of 2? So the Fibonacci of third term will be 1. So that is a 1 plus the Fibonacci of 2, that is the second term, will be 1. So 1 plus 1 we will get next term, that is equal to 2. I hope you will be understanding what I am saying. So 0 plus 1 will get next term, and 1 plus 1 will get next term, and 1 plus 2 then will get next term. So like that it will go to perform the Fibonacci series. So after this condition is false, the result, the entire numbers, Fibonacci numbers will be sent back to the main program. Then it will go to print in the as a output. So we'll go to execute this code. How we'll go to print the Fibonacci series. So for that, what you have to just, I want to copy this code. So let us paste into the same program. So we can use the subprogram after closing of the main program. So can save. So now we can go to Turbo C++. So once again we can open. So this is a program. So okay, otherwise I will close once again and I will open one more time. So this is a Fibonacci. Now I'm going to execute. Uh, I'm going to compile the program. So there is no errors in my program, and I'm going to run the program. So I want to enter number 5. So then I got the Fibonacci series will be 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. That means 0 plus 1 will get next term, that is 1. So 1 plus 1 will get next term 2, and 1 plus 2 will get next term 3. So like that it will go to compute the Fibonacci series. So these are the two programs are very important for the for in the engineering first year, first BTech. So in engineering, these two programs are very important. So definitely they will go and ask in the examination about recursion. So that is about recursion. So that is about recursion and followed by examples, factorial and Fibonacci series. So now I am going to discuss one more program, one more topic, that is about structures. So what is a structure? So what is an array? So it is a collection of similar data types. So whereas a structure is a collection of different data types. So array is a collection of similar data types, and that data type which will going to share a common name. So whereas a structure is a collection of different data types. So all these different data types will be together under a one single name, like as a array. So but the difference is that the structure is a different data types, whereas array is a similar data types. And similarly, the variables or data items in the structure are called as the members of the structure. So what are the variables or what are the data items which are going to used in the structure? So that variables or the data items can be called as a members of the structure. So whereas in array, so what are the data items or what are the elements you are, what are the variables you are using inside the array? So that that items or that variables can be called as a elements of the array. I hope you'll be understanding what I am saying. So structure is a collection of different data types, whereas array is a collection of similar data types. And the variables or data items in the structure are called as a members of the structure. So whereas the variables or data items in the array are called as elements. So that is the difference between a structure and a array. So this is a declaration of a structure. So that the structure can be declared as with help of a keyword structure. So with help of a keyword, you can use a keyword struct. So struct is a keyword and followed by structure name. So the structure can be right in between open curly brace and closing curly brace, and the structure will be terminated by the semicolon. The structure will be terminated by semicolon. So in between open and closing curly brackets, you have to write different types of data types. So that means you can type int is a type of structure member, or float type of structure member, or character type of structure members. So for example, so here I am writing a by using this syntax I am writing an example. So that is equal to structure. So struct is a keyword and followed by my structure name is employee. So my structure name is employee and followed by open curly brackets and closing curly brackets, and the structure will be terminated by semicolon. So in this instead of open and closing curly brackets, I'm using different types of data types. That is, I'm using a employee number as the integer data type, and employee name as a character data type, and salary as a float data types. So whereas in array you are using only a similar data types like int and followed by a and followed by size of the array, and it will be terminated by semicolon. So this is a declaration of the array. So for array we'll going to declare like this. So that means that all elements in the array which will go and share a common name that is equal to a only. So here a is the array name. So all 10 elements will be having a common name a, and all 10 elements will be having a same data type, that is a integer type only. So whereas in structure, the structure members it's contain different types of structure members, like it may contain integer, or it may contain character, or it may contain float, and so on. So but all these members, all these different types of data items can be share only common name. So in a structure also, so like as a array, the all 10 elements will be having a common name, and similarly the structure members, different types of structure members will be also having a common name. But in structure you have to use different types of data types, whereas in array you have to use only similar types of data types. So that is the difference between structure and arrays. Now coming to defining. So how we'll going to define a structure? So what is a defining a structure means that, so defining a structure means creating a variables. So how we'll going to create a variables in structures? So with help of a structure name, and followed by dot operator, we'll go and access the structure members. So here defining a structure means that which will go and allocated the what are the variables in the structure, or what are the members of the structure, so that all will be going to allocated sufficient memory space. So whenever you have to define a structure, so what are the variables or what are the structure members inside the structure, so that all will be allocated sufficient memory space at the time of defining a structures. So that is the meaning for defining a structures. So here I am going to defining a structure, struct followed by structure name and followed by different types of data types, and it will be closing with curly brackets and followed by structure variable. So it is a defining. So whereas in previous one I am not going to define any structure variable here. It is a simply declaration of the structure. So whenever you have to define a structure, at the time you have to write the structure variables. So by using this structure variable and followed by dot operator, you can access the structure members. So by using a structure variable and followed by dot operator, you can access the structure members. So that's why, so in defining a structure means that we are going to declare the structure variable. So that means that which will go to allocate the sufficient memory space to all the structure members. So that is a defining a structure and a declaration of a structure. I hope you will be understanding what I am saying. So if you declaring a structure means that it does not allocate the memory space. So it will be simply a structure. So whenever you have to defining a structure, at that time you are going to declare the structure variable. So whenever you have to declare a structure variable, so then that means that it will go to allocate the sufficient memory space for all the structure members. So that is the meaning for defining a structures. So with help of this structure variable and followed by dot operator, you can access the structure members. So this is an example here I am given. I'm taken employee details, struct and followed by employee, and employee number, it is integer data type, employee name, it is a character data type, and salary, it is a float data type, and my structure variable will be emp1. So my structure variable will be emp1 and followed by semicolon. So with help of this structure variable, you can access the members of the structure followed by dot operator. So for example, if you want access employee number in the employee structure, then you have to use a structure variable. So the structure variable here I am using emp1. So emp1 and followed by dot operator. So emp1 and followed by dot operator and followed by, you can access structure member emp number. So like that, if you want access a employee name, then you have to write emp1 dot employee name. And if you want access salary of the employee, then you have to write emp1 dot followed by salary. So with help of a structure variable and followed by dot operator, we will go and access the structure members. So what are the members that are going to declare inside of the structure, so that all members can be going to access with help of a structure variable and followed by dot operator and followed by structure members. So this is a memory allocation for the structure. So for every structure members having its own memory space. For every structure members in a structure having their own memory space. For example, employee number. So it is a integer type. That means that it will go and take 2 bytes of memory space. And EMP number. So it will go and take character. It is a character, so it will go and take 1 byte into the number of characters you are passing inside of the name will be 10. So 1 into 10, that is equal to 10 bytes. So 1 into 10, that is equal to 10 bytes, which will go and occupied by the character data type. And the float, if it is a float data type, so the float data type is going to occupy 4 bytes for the salary. So then the salary is going to occupy 4 bytes. I hope you will be understanding what I am saying. So every structure members is going to having their own memory spaces. So that is about defining a structure. After that, how the structure members is going to occupy the memory. So every members in the structure having their own spaces. Now let us see how to access the structure members. So as I said that before slide, so with help of a structure variable and followed by dot operator and followed by structure member, who can access the structures. So for example, here I'm using a syntax structure variable and followed by dot operator and followed by structure name, member name. So for example, so this is a program I'm writing here. For example, here I'm writing a structure. So the structure can be write inside of the main function, or you can write the structure declaration outside of the main function also. So for your convenience, you can write the structure inside of the main function, or you can write the structure outside of the main function also. So in this example, I am writing the structure inside of the main function. So here it contain the structure members are title. So title, it is a character data type. That means the character data type is going to occupy 1 byte into the number of characters for title will be 40. So that is equal to 40. So 1 into 40, that is equal to 40 bytes of memory, which will go to occupy for title. So next one, into followed by pages. So then it will go to occupy 2 bytes of memory for the pages. And float followed by price. So the float is going to occupy 4 bytes of memory for the price. So it is a structure declaration. So it is a structure declaration. Now I am going to defining the structure variable. How we will go to define the structure variable? So here I want to define the structure variable will be struct and followed by structure name and followed by structure variable. So I'm going to define the structure variable struct followed by structure name and followed by structure variable. So here my structure variable is b1. So my structure variable is b1 is equal to followed by, so my title of the structure will be C and DS, and pages, number of pages will be 300, and price will be 150.0. So like this we'll go to initialize the structure members. So by using a struct and followed by structure name and followed by structure members is equal to and followed by list of values. So like this also can we are going to initialize the structure members. So it is a this line will be used for initializing the structure members. So here I am initializing the structure member for title will be C and S, and pages will be 300 and price will be 150.0. So now I am going to print title, pages and price of the book. So now for that I am going to use a character. So if it is a character, then I will going to use a string. So %s and followed by, I am using a structure variable and followed by dot operator and followed by name or price or title. So in this example, I am taking as a title. So then you have to write title only. So b1 dot title. So my how will go to access the structure members, title, pages and price. So with help of a structure variable followed by dot operator and followed by members of the structure. So now I am going to access the structure members as b1 dot followed by title, and similarly b1 dot pages, and similarly b1 dot price. So with help of a printf function, I am going to print the title of the book and number of pages in the book, and followed by price of the book. And this is for, and the line is used for initializing of the structure members. So I will go to initialize the structure members. So followed by struct and followed by structure name and followed by structure variable b1 is equal to list of values. So every list of values will be separated by comma and it will be terminated by semicolon. So this is the initialization of the structures. And after that, after initializing of structure, if you want to access the structure members, then you have to use structure variable and followed by dot operator and followed by structure members. So that is for accessing of the structure members. So if you have any doubts, please be post your query in the chat box. So I will continue in the next class about initialization of structures. We will go and discuss in the next session. So that's all about us. And if you have any doubts about recursion and about structure, declaration, defining a structure, and how the structure members can be stored into the memory, and after that how can you access the structure members. If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the chat box. I will try to answer your query. So in the next class we will go and discuss about initialization of the structures. So if you have any doubts, please be asked. You can post your query in the chat box. I will try to answer your query. And if you don't have any queries, and if you like this session, so please be click on thumbs up button, as well as you can subscribe my channel. So if you like this video, please click on a thumbs up button, and you can subscribe my channel. So thank you for attending today's session, and in the next day 19 we will go and discuss about initializing of a structure. So that's all about today class. So thank you once again. Have a nice day.